For Brilliant Games, I'm Sam. These are the week's headlines. We begin this week with Microsoft's Developer Showcase, which it held on Wednesday. The 45-minute long Direct only showcased 5 titles, which didn't include either of Bethesda's major in-development titles, The Elder Scrolls 6 or Starfield, though it was known that neither of these titles would be shown, with a Starfield exclusive showcase reportedly set for the coming months. The first title shown was Minecraft Legends, the action strategy game being co-developed by Mojang and Blackbird Interactive, the studio behind Homeworld 3 and Hard Space Shipbreaker. The main focus on the game was showing off the different approaches players can take in the upcoming title. Minecraft Legends has been given a release date of the 18th of April this year. The next game featured was Forza Motorsport, the 8th title in the series. The focus in this section of the showcase was on the level of detail that will be present in Forza 8. With time given to talk about the sound design, visual damage to the cars, and thorough detail to the tracks to make them as accurate as possible. There was talk on the game's dynamic weather and track wear, which Turn 10 says will make each lap feel different. Turn 10's Director of Motorsport content, Arthur Sheck, noted that there will be 20 tracks at launch, with 5 of them being new to the series, including the Kyalami Grand Prix circuit in South Africa. Alongside the 20 tracks at launch, Forza 8 will feature 500 cars, according to Turn 10 creative director Chris Sasaki. The game is expected for release in the first half of this year, but following the show, Giant Bomb reporter Jeff Grubb said he'd been told that the game had been delayed until the second half of the year. Quote, "What I'm hearing, it does seem like Forza is going to slip later into the year and probably won't be the first half of the year," he said on Thursday. Grubb added, quote, "The time frame I'm hearing for Forza is like Q3 and maybe even later than that." Following Forza 8 was Tango Gameworks with their latest game, Hi-Fi Rush. This third-person rhythm action title had been rumoured to be revealed just a few days before the showcase. The game had a pretty good showing, and the way the stacked licensed soundtrack had been implemented in the gameplay is very satisfying, and combine that with a very appealing art style makes it a very interesting piece. Hi-Fi Rush had been stealthily released onto Game Pass at the time of the broadcast, and after playing the first half an hour I have to say I'm impressed and enjoying it quite a bit. And it seems so are the critics. From the 5 outlets that have published their reviews, it's received an average 88%. Next up was a new expansion for The Elder Scrolls Online. Necron will take place in a new area of Morrowind and will add a new class, the Arcanist. The expansion is set for release on the 20th of June. The showcase finished with a look at Redfall. This section of the Direct included a walkthrough of the different areas of the map by Arcane Studio team, as well as some of the activities players will be able to get involved in, the various abilities and upgrades each character has been given, and a brief preview of the arsenal of weapons available to players. As we reported at the beginning of the year, Arcane was targeting a release for the game in the first week of May. It's now been confirmed for a launch on the 2nd of May. A bit more Microsoft news. Xbox reportedly attracted a record 120 million monthly active users during the quarter ended in December 2022. During Microsoft's second quarter earnings call on Tuesday, CEO Satya Nadella said, quote, "In gaming, we continue to pursue our ambition to give players more choice to play great games, wherever, whenever, and however they want." Nadella continued and claimed, quote, "We saw new highs for Game Pass subscriptions, game streaming hours and monthly active devices, and monthly active users surpassed a record 120 million during the quarter." He went on to speak about how Microsoft has this quarter partnered with Riot Games to put the company's titles on Game Pass to add value to the service. Life is Strange 2 has been announced for the Nintendo Switch. Developed by Don't Nod Entertainment and published by Square Enix, the sequel to 2015's episodic adventure game will release for Nintendo's console on Thursday the 2nd of February. It's available to pre-order on a Nintendo eShop and costs £25.99, $31.99, while the other 2 installments of the Life is Strange series are already available on the Nintendo Switch. Sega has announced a new release date for the delayed PS5 version of Football Manager 23. Originally set to arrive alongside FM23 for PC, Mac, Xbox and mobile devices last November, the game will now release for Sony's console on Wednesday the 1st of February. PlayStation Plus subscribers will receive a 20% discount on the game until the 14th of February. The PS5 version's release will mark the long-running Football Spreadsheet's debut on a PlayStation home console, with the series' previous installments released for PSP and Vita. AEW Fight Forever's release date is reportedly in limbo again due to issues with the ESRB. It's claimed the upcoming All Elite Wrestling game no longer has a firm release date, due to the game failing to acquire the ESRB rating that AEW and publisher THQ Nordic had hoped for. According to WrestleZone, citing sources close to the situation, it said the amount of blood and gore in the game prevented it from achieving a teen rating on multiple attempts. It should be noted that AEW's television product often presents wrestling matches with significantly more blood and heightened violence than its rival WWE. AEW Fight Forever's release date has been a constant unknown. In June last year, AEW star and one of the company's EVPs, Kenny Omega, has said he hoped the game was scheduled for release in 2022. When this clearly was no longer possible, the game was then set for release in February 2023. According to WrestleZone, that February release window now seems unlikely, while the Amazon.com listing tags the game for release on the 31st of December 2023, though this is a placeholder as it was previously listed on there as a 31st of December 2022. Pressure is on for developer Yuke's, publisher THQ Nordic and AEW to get their game out in good time, as rival company WWE is set to release its next game in March. Riot Games has said it's received a ransom demand after source code for 2 of its games was stolen during a cyber attack. The studio confirmed on the 20th of January that its development environment had been compromised by a social engineering attack, a method which involves a psychological manipulation of people into performing actions or divulging confidential information. The attack led to the theft of source code for League of Legends, Teamfight Tactics, and a legacy anti-cheat platform, and has temporarily affected Riot's ability to release new content. Riot says it's working with law enforcement as the authorities investigate the attack and the group responsible for it. This news compounds the bad news for Riot Games, as the developer-publisher joined the list of companies that cut staff last week. The layers were first revealed by esports reporter Jacob Wolf on Twitter, before Riot confirmed the news in a statement to Rock Paper Shotgun. Wolf reported that affected staff including members of human resources, recruitment, support and esports divisions. Riot confirmed 46 people across multiple teams were let go, but did not give specifics. Before we go, a quick roundup of the notable releases from the past week. The 24th saw the release of Forspoken for PC and PS5. The PC port from 2 reviews scored an average 59%, while the PS5 version from 83 outlets scored an average 66%. Those scores vary wildly, with 6 separate publications scoring the game a 40%. But 18 outlets scored the game a minimum of 80%, with 2 scoring at 90 or over. The 25th saw the release of The Excavation of HOB'S Barrow for Switch. The PC port of the horror narrative adventure in September of last year scored an 80%, while the Switch version matched it, also scoring an 80% from full reviews. The 26th saw the release of Power Chord from Big Blue Bubble Inc. for PC. The Rock and Roll deck builder from 4 outlets scored an average 75%. And finally, the highly anticipated Dead Space remake dropped on the 27th for PC, PS5 and Xbox Series. The Motive Studio developed game, which I'll be honest I was expecting to be bad, has scored very, very well. The PC version from 17 reviews scored an average 87%. The PS5 port from 58 outlets scored an average 89%. And the Xbox Series release from 13 publications scored an average 88%. Fair play to Motive Studios for the work on this game. I'm glad to have been proven wrong in this instance. With all that said, we've reached the end of this week's episode. Be sure to leave your thoughts on any of the stories we've talked about today in the comments down below. And while you're down there, let me know what games you've been playing. If you enjoyed this, please give us a thumbs up and a subscribe, it really helps out the channel. And be sure to follow us on Twitter at BloodyBrillGames to update on our content. A massive thank you to the boys at the Nerdic Gods podcast for having us on their most recent episode. Go and check it out if you haven't already. I'm Sam, thank you for watching Bloody Brilliant Games. I'll see you next week. Goodbye.